Would you please welcome the wonderful Taron Egerton?
Thank you very much. That's very lovely. Cheers.
Taron, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be here, although it's a completely new gang.
New people.
New people. That's great.
The other one.
Yeah.
They're still around as well, which just make that
Good to hear.
You've just come from, not long ago, from Cannes.
Yeah.
You received, it sounds like, the most incredible standing ovation that brought you to tears. Take us through what that experience was like.
It was, I mean, it was insane. I've never been to Cannes before. And you go with this movie that you've spent 18 months working incredibly hard on and we're all incredibly proud of, but you know, you never know how people are going to react. And so for them to give us this insane 4-minute standing ovation. Oh, there we are. Look at Elton with Rocketman on his back. Keeping it low-key. It was wonderful and all the validation we could hope for. And yes, it's been very well documented. I did get a little bit teary, but it was a wonderful moment for me. It was fabulous.
Is that a cathartic thing? Because you're going into it, and I guess unlike a Bohemian Rhapsody, the person that you are making this about is still around.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And sitting next to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's quite nerve-wracking in itself. But, I mean, also, he and I have grown quite close, and he's obviously a producer on the film, and we've spent a lot of time together. And his opinion is hugely important to me. So, and actually, in the last 5 minutes of the film, he was sobbing like a baby. But because Elton is sort of, you know, better versed in these things than I am, he kind of got himself together before the lights came up. I was still blubbing at the fact that Elton was blubbing.
But that's got to be surreal. You're sitting next to him and you're watching. He's watching you being him.
Yeah.
You must be confused as to whether to look at him or the screen or ball your eyes.
Well, yeah, I was kind of, you know, the
movie.
movie's here and I'm kind of watching everything at a 45-degree angle to make sure he likes it. But one of the really lovely things about it was he and Bernie, his lyricist, who's the other central character in the movie, they were sort of grabbing each other's knee and sort of looking fondly at one another and obviously getting emotional. And for me and for Dexter and Jamie Bell, who plays Bernie, it's just the most validating, wonderful thing for them to be proud of it.
Is it also difficult to watch with him there, because he's just constantly leaning in going, I know this how this ends?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, nightmare for spoilers. No, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have been better.
Often with these sorts of films, it skips over the difficult bits, the tricky stages in people's lives, and Elton's obviously had some of those. How did you feel, given that so much of that is there?
Yeah.
You know, it's all on screen.
It was always what excited me most about the project, really. I mean, the movie begins and ends with Elton going to rehab in sort of 89, 90, and his production company developed the script. And I just thought, for someone of his iconic status, who's so beloved and so well known, to frame their life story through this prism of addiction, frankly, you know, just seemed so brave and exciting and something we hadn't seen before. So for me, it just seemed like an irresistible opportunity.
I've found for this, when you see movies like this, there's an element of, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Which I know it also comes with, well, maybe it didn't or didn't happen exactly like that. What was the thing that would kind of stand out for people to know that was exactly what went down?
I mean, your song is one of my favourite bits in the movie. It's a song that I do entirely live on set because I sing all of the songs in the movie. In the interest of full disclosure, there's no Elton in the film, which was, I suppose, a bit of a risk on our part. But it is a musical and I...
Well, we should also point out, because people might not be aware of this, but often when there's singing on a film, they play the recording of it and then you kind of mime to it. But there was a lot of this, seemed to me, you were singing it live.
Yeah, and your song was one of those instances. And I'm quite proud of that section. And from what Elton tells me, the way he writes songs is that they happen in under sort of 40 minutes. So you know, it's the nature of genius, I suppose. I did read his diaries in preparation for the role. I went and stayed at his house.
Did
Yeah, no, he let them. But I sat by this, you know, very beautiful big pond. It's not a pond, it's a lake at his house. and read his diaries from 70 to 76, and they are so hilariously pedestrian. It will say, like, one entry will be, the washing machine's broken, wrote a song called Honky Cat. And that's it for the day. Actually, another one of my favourite ones, unrelated to that, is, wasn't feeling great last night, did a moody, smashed a plate of French fries in the restaurant.
But you say say that it was risky for you to do all the singing. You're spectacular in it. Like, I absolutely bawled my eyes out. I spent the whole time with goosebumps, just feeling this incredible emotion. And part of me feels like this was destined to be. Elton John has kept coming in and out of your life up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I know. It sounds so weird to say, but
yeah. He was a gorilla and went, that's me.
That's me, exactly. I auditioned for drama school when I was 17 with Your Song as my audition piece. And then I played a gorilla in Sing, and my big number at the end was I'm Still Standing. And then Elton was in Kingsman 2 as well.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It's like the universe is sort of bringing us together, and
or it's the longest audition process.
What did he write about you in his diary?
No, these are from the 70s. Oh. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I'd be curious to know.
All right, it is time for a short break. Heaps more Taron when we return. Do not go anywhere.
When making a film about someone's life, how do you properly portray such a talented star as Elton John?
What a shy little boy you were. Look at you now.
Firstly, Rocketman wisely leans into the spectacle and turns the flamboyant dial up to 11.
Maybe I should have tried to be more ordinary.
I mean, look at the inspiration Elton himself has given us.
Isn't that supposed to be Saturday?
What day is it today?
Wednesday.
Exactly.
The filmmakers have had a field day with the music of Sir Elton, putting stunning visuals to his songs. And Taron Egerton fearlessly delves into the character head first.
Welcome back to the project. We're continuing our chat with the star of Rocketman, Taron Egerton.
Taron, one of the really beautiful things about this film is that it is a love story, but it's actually a love story about two mates.
Yeah, I really love that about it. So, you know, Elton famously has never been a lyricist. He says he's written some words, but self-confessed, they're not very good. So, you know, he found this young guy when he was 19 and Bernie was 17, and they just fell in love, in platonic love, you know, and he found the other half of his creative coin. And that relationship is at the centre of our film. And Bernie's portrayed by Jamie Bell, who is obviously an extraordinary actor and a wonderful guy, and he and I have struck up a great friendship, and we hope it's quite a touching element of the film.
It is. It brings you to tears.
Do you know, we've all seen kind of the sort of bromance movies, the tough guy, you know, one guy's the wisecrack guy, one guy's the sort of jaded, rough, you know, but this
Not
is...
like that.
I think you've written some of those
It's like
movies.
a brotherhood.
Yeah, I've done them myself. But, you know, this is a little more sensitive and touching, and at one point Elton, you know, even misconstrues the nature of that affection for something more, and the way it's dealt with by Bernie is totally beautiful, and it only serves to strengthen their relationship, and, yeah, it's lovely.
It must be great to get to play the role and to have spent time with Elton as well.
Yeah.
But you've also performed with him, which now I'm sure you're like, yeah, me not like that.
Yeah.
But the first time, shitting yourself, correct?
Oh, mate, terrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely shitting myself.
Yeah.
So the first time was during his Elton John AIDS Foundation Oscar viewing party, and this is the second time. The first time, I genuinely thought I was going to forget the words, mess it up, but both times have been a joy. This was the second time, and
Yeah, a lot more confidence there.
Yeah, I sort of fancied myself a bit by this point. I'm giving it a little bit with the crowd. No, but yeah, both times have been amazing. But this was on the beach at Cannes, kind of 100 metres from where he shot the I'm Still Standing video. Wow. Shortly after we'd had this incredible standing ovation, and as everyone knows, I cried. It was an amazing experience.
So with the role, what was more intimidating, the acting or the vocal work?
Well, I think, you know, both of those things combined were why it was such an appealing prospect to me. One, it affords me so much room to move and flex my muscles as an actor, because Elton's such a complex character that, you know, the many kind of dualities to him are so apparent. This, you know, he can be so sensitive and quiet and loving and caring and warm, but he can also be this kind of imposing, tyrannical figure. Couple that with these incredible songs and this musical theatre style in which we tell the story, you know, I think any actor would have leapt at the chance of doing it.
The costumes in the film are ridiculous in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like they are, yeah. Award season is going to get complicated, basically. But did you get to keep anything?
So I really, really have wanted for a long time the denim jacket I wear in Tiny Dancer, but my favourite is this one.
Look at that!
Sure.
So this is Elton's Madison Square Garden costume that he is wearing as he's preparing to go on stage, and it's the concert he misses when he marches into rehab. Interesting thing to note about this costume is it's covered in Swarovski crystals, which means we couldn't wash it. And it runs right the way through the film. So I wore it for 3 months. And by the end, I noticed that by sort of, you know, we started at the start of August, by the end of October, no one would be within 10 paces of me. So why is no one... Dexter, you know, our director's giving me notes from the other side of the room going, Taron, do this a bit differently. But, yeah, I don't know, you know...
Are you worried that if someone else gets it, that they'll just clone you off the funk that you've left behind?
My DNA. Yeah, my residue.
Where would you put that? Where would you wear it if you kept it? What is the occasion for the Angel Devil outfit?
Glastonbury?
Somewhere where people don't need to use their nose to breathe would be helpful.
Yeah, everyone's too inebriated to be able to smell and you
Now,
blend
you
in.
also, from Elton, got... famously, he gave you an earring of his, which I think you actually wear in the movie a couple of times.
So it's with that particular outfit,
Right.
the orange neoprene outfit. And, yeah, so it was about a year ago as we were preparing to shoot Elton. I was sat at his house with my girlfriend and I was sat opposite him and he just leant over and dropped something in my hand. And it was the first diamond earring that he'd ever bought in 1972, 1973. And he said, that's yours to keep.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I asked Julian Day, our costume designer, if I could include it as part of my costume. And he said yes, and so I wear it for all the rehab scenes. And it's kind of like a talisman, and it made me feel very close to him, and it's a lovely little thing.
I have no doubt it will be successful, to the point where, how do you feel about Rocketman 2? I've got the title.
Rocketman 2?
Yeah,
Go on.
so can you feel the love tonight, the love story of his actual romantic love?
Right, so like Rocketman the Furnish years.
Yeah.
Fully furnished.
I'm fully furnished. I like that. Hey, I'm down. I'm very, very, very
Okay,
available.
put it on record.
You know, we have to wrap things up soon because you have to get home to become the new British PM, but... So, yeah.
Before we do have to go, where do you go from here? This is massive in your career. What have you got sort of on the horizon? What would you love to do?
I don't know. I think I really like roles that I feel a bit frightened of, and I really like things that make you look different and feel different, and this did this so well that I honestly don't know. So I'm open to suggestions, ready for work.
Well, we can't wait to see what you do
so
next.
Much. Thank you.
Rocketman is in cinemas everywhere, May 31st. Would you please thank the delightful Taron Egerton?